Ava Braun was characterized as being deeply unhappy and extremely in love with Hitler. The relationship was so well hidden that we really didn't even learn about it until after World War II. There was a film collection found in 1972 called The Colorful Film Show, and it was filmed mostly by Ava Braun, and it featured her great love, Hitler, and some of his top ranking officials like Joseph Goebbels. This film show completely changed the way we saw Hitler, and we're going to go over it on Parawoman Radio members. There was a film collection. Hi, guys. Welcome to Parawoman Radio. I'm Amy. I wanted to show you that video because I formed a Patreon, and that's going to be the first case that I cover on Patreon. I'll put the links down below if you're interested in Ava Braun, and you can join the Patreon, and we can investigate that. Let me add this to the stage. Hold on a second. Okay, so I have to say this. The little bird repeats "stop it" continuously. So you're going to hear him say "stop it, stop it, stop it." And he does that because when he fights with the dog, I yell "stop it." So that's what he loves to say now. "Stop it, stop it, stop it." And it sounds just like my mother's voice. But okay, anyway. So today we're going to be watching Lori Vallow. I'm doing this thing. I don't know if it's a thing, but I know everybody's doing Vlogmas. So I don't want to do Vlogmas. I want to do LIVEmas, where I do 24 days of lives leading up to Christmas. I looked around. I don't see like it's a thing. I don't think it's a thing. But if you like your other live streamers, why don't you tell them about it? And maybe we can do hashtag LIVEmas. I think that would be a lot of fun. Let me get the Lori Vallow stuff. Oh, I'm also doing Feel Good University. Over there, I am a medical, how can I say this? I am a medical watering the grass patient. Yes, I'm a medical watering the grass patient, or a medical devil's lettuce patient. YouTube is very strange about these things, and we can't say them out loud. But over there, I'm showing you that journey. I used to be on prescribed narcotics, and now I'm on prescribed devil's lettuce. Okay, so Lori Vallow. Lori Vallow has moved. Her little body has been moved to Arizona. And they filmed her coming into the jail in Arizona. Which Arizona jail is it? Hold on a second. Maricopa. She was moved to Maricopa jail. And this is Lori arriving last night at the Maricopa jail. Apparently she arrived late last night, and she came through the jail, and they did the booking, and then they moved her along, and they changed her into their garb, and then she went right in front of the judge. And apparently it took them, I think it was 17 or 18 hours. They were going to fly her, and instead of flying her, they drove her in two SUVs because they were going to fly her, but there was weather issues. So this is what they did. And this is her arriving. So this is Lori Vallow. She's arriving to the Maricopa jail. They took video of her. They wanted to show us the booking process, which, I enjoyed this because remember when we saw the booking process for Chris Watts? Hold on a second. I always forget to check to make sure that you can hear me. Make sure you can hear what I'm saying. And indeed you can. And I heard the little bird. Okay. So they decided that they thought it would be good for us to see her arrive. Arizona is a lot different than Idaho, I think. I think we're going to be able to see her trial because of the fact that we saw Jodi Arias. This is the same place Jodi was at. And we also got good news that we're going to be able to see Chad Daybell's trial live as well. So I'm excited about that. So this is her arriving, and they're putting her through. She just went through that metal detector, but I guess it's not like a metal detector. It detects, well, yeah, it's a metal detector, and it probably detects drugs and anything else that people want to shove up their body crevices. And there she is. They changed her off into her new prison attire. She came in green, I think it was, and now she's in orange. This is Maricopa County Jail. They're booking her in. They took some video of it. And there's her new mugshot. Say cheese. Say I murdered my children. Say I'm a crazy cult mom. This is her arriving again. Look at her little blue jean jacket. It was really warm or cold in Idaho, and apparently it was really warm in Arizona. How long has she been in? When was Lori Vallow arrested? Let me look. On February 20th, 2020. So she's been in jail and or prison for 3 years now. I feel like her fillers have definitely drooped. She doesn't. I am someone who does fillers and cosmetic stuff to my face and body, and her fillers are no longer in her body, and so her face is drooping. And she doesn't have the good skincare regimen anymore, I imagine. Lori strikes me as someone who went to the beauty salon regularly, did her nails, had massages.
All right. So Ms. Vallow, you are appearing here on 2 cases.
Had massages, had an esthetician, you know. So I always wish that I could be someone who had the patience to do all that, but I don't have the patience to sit in a chair at the beauty salon. I hate it. Okay, so then after she was booked in, then she went right in front of the jail, and apparently I think this was at like 4 a.m. I'm not that she went in front of the judge. It was really, really late or really early in the morning, however you want to look at it, after a 17 or 18-hour SUV drive.
Cases. These are both grand.
Oh, if you guys could give this live a thumbs up, it helps me dance out into the algorithm and bring more people back to the party. It's just a free way to help me out, and it's so appreciated. Oh, and if you want to share it too, that would be great.
Jury warrants. What that means is that the grand jury here in Arizona has indicted you on 2 charges. The first case is CR 2022-001242-001. You're being charged in that case with 1 count of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. It is a Class 1 felony committed on October the 2nd of 2019. The second case is CR 2021-001704-001. In that case, you're also being charged with one count of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. It is also a Class 1 felony. That offense allegedly occurred on July 11th of 2019. Now, I do have to advise you of your right to have an attorney and the right to remain silent. I will appoint counsel for you in both cases. I have a court date coming up for you. It's called the not guilty arraignment hearing. Give me just a second. That hearing is going to.
I watched Nate Easton last night. He's the guy that chased her in in Hawaii. You know, where are your children, Lori? He is so good about. He's going to be covering the Chad Daybell going to the case, and I looked when Chad Daybell, and his case is in April, so it's right around the corner. And Lori will probably waive her right to a speedy trial like she did with her other one. So within a year, is it within a year? We'll be seeing Lori in front of the Arizona. That's unless she decides to plead guilty. She could shock us all and plead guilty.
Downtown Phoenix Superior Court in our Central Court building. And the date is going to be next Thursday, December 7th at 8:30 in the morning. In both cases, you've been extradited from the state of Arizona. You're currently under the jurisdiction of the Idaho Department of Corrections. That makes you non-bailable at this hearing. So you're not eligible for bail in either case. You do have your court date. You know a lawyer is going to be appointed for you. Do you have any questions?
Are those cases going to be combined, or are they going to be done separately?
Well, they are two separate cases, but they're going to be handled at the same hearing.
Someone asked Nate if she was going to have the same lawyer, and he said no, because the lawyer she had in Idaho is not certified to represent her in Arizona. So she's going to have a court-appointed lawyer in Arizona.
Okay.
And she's asking if both these cases are going to be combined. There's two of them.
Okay. So you can talk to your lawyer, but they are two separate cases, which means that you'd have two separate proceedings going forward if it goes to trial.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions, Ms. Vallow?
Just one attorney, or more attorneys will be assigned to?
Well, at this point in time, you're likely going to have the one lawyer represent you at this particular hearing. What the Maricopa County Public Defender does at this point in time,
one attorney or more attorneys.
Who they assign for counsel for you, or how many lawyers you have, or anything like that, that will be between you and your lawyer.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
So you're saying that will I get to talk to them before that arraignment hearing, or will just at that arraignment hearing they'll be assigned?
Well, typically you do meet your lawyer at that arraignment hearing. Under the circumstances of this case, they may reach out to you before that hearing to have discussions with you. There is also a telephone number that you're going to have on your paperwork that will be able to connect you with the Maricopa County Public Defender's Office.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Also, last night, Nate was live, and he said that this Maricopa jail is a really nice jail. She's got really lucky. She committed her crimes in the best places possible. Also, they don't think that this Arizona one will be a death penalty case. They do have the death penalty in Arizona, but they don't think it's going to be a death penalty case. That might be another reason why she might waive her right to a speedy trial, because that's how she got out of the death penalty case in Idaho. She waived her right, and they couldn't do it.
Ms. Vallow, I appreciate it. All right. Thank you.
Okay, so that was Lori. She arrived in Arizona early this morning, late last night, and no, I guess she didn't go in front of the judge at 4 a.m. It must have been 8 p.m. or something like that. Anyway, the sheriff's department also had, the The sheriff's department also had a press conference, and I thought we could watch that as well. Okay.
You're going to transport her, that we wouldn't have to deal with any kind of weather conditions or.
Does it just pop right in? So what do you guys think about this this mugshot? This is what I'm
Custody at one of the prisons.
You can tell right here. This is my problem area too. She had fillers, and the filler has kind of moved. That's what happens. It moves a little bit when you don't keep up. And she probably had Botox up here, and her face is just kind of drooping. It's sagging forward. But this is my problem area too, right here. I'd probably look like that if I was in jail.
We sent 4 deputies, more predictable and more within our control, that if we were going to transport her, that we wouldn't have to deal with any kind of weather conditions or air travel challenges. So our deputies left on the 27th for Idaho. Arrived there, stayed for a day to prepare, and brought her back. We sent 2 extradition.
I know, I forgot to say, I wanted to remind you that this is Parawoman Radio, and I'm Amy, and this is day 1 of my 24 days of LIVEmas. LIVEmas. Say it out loud. LIVEmas 5 times. LIVEmas, 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 LIVEmas. I can't. If you could give this live a thumbs up, it would help me dance out to the algorithm and bring more people back to the party. It's just a free way to help me out, and it's so appreciated.
Deputies, a supervisor, and 1 deputy from our K-9 division, but it's just because she's a female deputy. We want to make sure there was a female accompanying suspect Vallow in her travel back. It was about an 18-hour trip.
Also, do you guys notice anything? Because like when you see it, and then you can't unsee it. But do you guys notice anything about this? Does this remind you of anything? Let me circle. Does this look like anything to you? Does this look like anything? Perhaps a knife. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Do you guys see the knife?
In my statement, as you saw, I talked about the fact that we do about 250 plus extraditions every year. So this is not new for them. The uniqueness, or maybe the circumstances involved in this particular case, are very high profile and much to the interest of our local and national audience. I don't want to diminish it. It is what we do, as I stated, and we do it very well. Whether it is her or any other fugitive who's wanted in the state of Arizona, we're going to facilitate.
I know that there is a echo, but it's on the video. It's not mine.
Transfer into our custody so the prosecutor's office can prosecute them effectively. She had her initial appearance at about 2 a.m. when she was remanded without bond. So the case will now be in the hands of the county attorney. While in our custody, at the conclusion of whatever happens with the court case, she will then be returned to Pocatello, to their Department of Corrections. So I want to thank them for their cooperation and facilitation of this also. And I also want to just recognize and express gratitude to our team here, the deputies that spent 4 days on the road to bring her back safely. We do have a really, really good video for you, which I can't show you right now, but we'll get it to you of bringing her into the jail, where you get a good look at the process, the initial process of her custody. So I don't, there's not a whole lot more depth to it than that. I just want to make sure you heard from me the status of it, and I'm happy to answer a few questions if they're related to this case. I'll start with
I was going to say, will she be kept in any sort of segregated situation, or is she going to be in just both places?
Yeah, no, that is a good question. She will be. She's deemed to be high security, so she'll be isolated in a high security area, the Estrella jail.
Someone asked Nate last night if Lori was a good inmate, and she's been like an ideal inmate. She doesn't fight. She's friendly. She always has a pleasant demeanor, apparently. Oh, and she is not planning on divorcing Chad.
With this, you've dealt with high-profile inmates in the past. That's not new, but obviously this planning has been going on, I would assume, for some time.
It has, and we wanted to make sure that it was, during my tenure as sheriff, I feel like our focus has always been about being really fundamentally sound and less about the bells and whistles. And the men and women who put the planning and preparation took everything into consideration. As I said, we had challenging weather conditions. The last thing we wanted to do was try to fly and get stuck in an airport, where suddenly now we're in a space where there's a lot of community members and others, and it takes an extensive period of time. If we're going to travel that road, we need to make sure that we had the appropriate vehicles. As I said, we sent a female deputy to make sure that we had a female deputy accompanying a female inmate. We sent those from our FATE detail, and extraditions facilitated this because we're the best at managing any kind of transfer of custody or apprehension of those deemed to be dangerous. And make no mistake about it, sometimes I think we look at a person and judge them by appearance, and we go, well, this is a relatively moderate-sized female. What kind of a threat can she be? She is as much, if not more, of a threat to the harm of others as any other dangerous criminal we've had in our custody. So we figure out the entire route, map the challenges, where we're going to stay, how we make sure that our employees get the rest necessary to come back safely. I think it was an 18-hour drive back. Is that correct? About 18 hours? Yeah. So we'll call it a planning an extensive road trip that just happens to include
18 hours, 4 days. Like, I don't know. I feel like they could have done it in 3, but whatever.
bringing back a dangerous fugitive.
Can you clarify this?
They said she was very chatty on this transport.
So he said at some point she'd be brought back to Idaho to Pocatello, but this court case here, we don't know how long that's going to take.
And she didn't get any, like an iPad or anything to read, watch, look at. So she just had to sit there and talk with them.
Coming up, and she has an appeal process. I was here for the duration of this case in Maricopa.
She'll be housed here until the conclusion of her case, and then once there is a conclusion, that the county attorney and their attorney there will have to determine. I would imagine that she'd have to return to spend her time there, and then whatever time either is going to be consecutive, concurrent, whatever the outcome is. But I'm just being respectful of the fact that she is in their custody, and now she's been transferred to us for the specific case.
I know initially.
Let me just check the rest of the room before I come back to you. Anybody got questions? Left. Hey, Rick, how are you, buddy? Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yeah,
I understand.
I guess I have two, but what was her demeanor like during this process?
I understand that she was very sociable the entire trip. Talked quite a bit.
About what?
Oh, that's between the deputies, the courts, and the prosecutor, apparently. I don't know that she gave any specific statements related to the investigation, but I just know that they said she was very chatty.
And I'll just add to that. I know initially maybe there weren't plans to extradite her until after the appeal process in Idaho was concluded. Why did that change? Yeah, I'm not sure. That's something probably that I'm sure maybe Rachel Mitchell can answer to the county attorney. She would know more about the specifics on any court-related elements.
So with that said, who ultimately makes the call? Is it between MCAO and then you, and the light is given, and then you guys ready for the trip that we planned? Idaho involved in it, like who ultimately makes that call, because this kind of happened pretty.
No, not so much. We just kept it under wraps because we didn't want to, I don't like to talk about things until we execute on them and carry out our duties. So the legal sides of the extradition relative to their willingness to allow us to take custody of her here and hold her for trial here, that takes place at the prosecutorial level. Once there's a green light that she is going to be available for us to extradite here to Arizona, then we take it from there and do all the planning and handle all the operations.
You said it was an 18-hour drive back. Was it nonstop? Did you guys have to stop anywhere to rest? Or
He said
kind
4
of,
days.
what is that like when you
Didn't they say a 4-day journey?
have to drive someone like this across the country?
Well, I just know on drives that long, it's usually my family saying, "Are we there yet? Are we there yet?" But it's just, I stop for gas, stop for food, stop for rest stops, and make sure that we're being accommodating to the needs of the inmate. But get here as quick.
It couldn't have been 4 days because I don't know. Did I just like mishear the 4 days? But it couldn't have been 4 days because I remember Nate saying last night that they brought 8, like there were 4 officers, there were 2 SUVs. And so when one wasn't driving the other, and they were like trading back and forth. That's what I understood it.
Quickly as you can, without it being a danger to, as I said, we had 4 deputies. So I'm going to presume that they took turns driving, or if not, that they took time to rest if they got back safely.
And there was no issues?
No. In this case, we used 2 4-wheel drive vehicles because we were going to be dealing with potential weather conditions. Not much more complicated than that.
And I know we can't see the video, but we'll watch it later. Can you expand more what we'll see in the video when we do?
Yeah, I think you guys use the term perp walk. It's just her coming into the back parking lot of the ITR, being brought into the facility, a short, exposure to the search process, transfer her into the, the jail clothing. And then at that point, she just, goes into a cell waiting on her initial appearance. So it just gives you exposure to our team bringing her into the jail and getting a good look at this fugitive who's now in the custody of Maricopa County Sheriff's Office.
Any idea how much it costs to extradite?
No, but I can get you that number. That's a good question. It's not cheap, but it's obviously money well spent.
Obviously, there was families that were impacted here.
Yeah.
Just what would you like to say? To
Do you guys think it's money well spent? Do you think she really should be going through this thing in Arizona because she's in for life over in Idaho? I think Arizona, they feel like they have to do it to save face because they look like real idiots. They really look like in the body cam. They really dropped the ball.
There's at least one step closer to closure in this case.
Yeah, I think it's a great question. When I spent a lot of time working with victims, as you guys know, when I was a former agency, all that matters is, I pray for them, that their hearts will find a way to heal as best you can with significant loss like this. When it comes to the justice side of the ledger, the scales, I don't know that, successful prosecution, what the punishment is. I don't think there's anything that occurs in that space that really fills that void. And I don't know that, I'm sure some family members feel passionate about it. Others just kind of want to have their own path to overcoming this. So for me, just from one human to another, my heart breaks for them. Anybody who suffered loss at the hands of an evil person like this. And I pray that they'll find peace. We do. We have a plane that we use for extraditions. It's really just, distance circumstances, because it's not a commercial plane like you'd see. The majority of our extraditions occur through commercial transport. But again, now you're dealing with circumstances where you're going to be in an environment with a lot of other people who are just community members and unaware of the circumstances. So it enhances the danger slightly. If you go into a location and suddenly there's a storm and your flight is delayed, then you're sitting.
I'm going to try to attend her trial in Arizona. And when I do that, I'm going to backtrace the steps of Jodi Arias.
In an airport for hours, if not days, delayed because of that. And we wanted to mitigate any of those potential unexpected obstacles, unexpected challenges, to make sure that we could get her back as quickly as possible.
Obviously, she's an accused murderer in this state, but overall, she was followed the case at all leading up to this.
I don't. No. I'm familiar as much as you guys have reported. My team has briefed me, and it's not because I'm not interested, but I have a lot of other things that are pressing, timely, and specific to this organization that I focus on. So I know the devastation that's been left in the trail. I know the importance of making sure that this office handles our business professionally and efficiently. And, just to give you some context, as I said, 250 plus these transfers a year that our extraditions team does. And our FATE team, who participated, they're approaching 1,000 arrests of fugitives that are extremely dangerous, and many of which, if I threw out some names, you wouldn't even know who they were, but they're getting them off the streets, made the community a safer place. All right, listen. Yeah, is she at Estrella? Is that where we got her? Yeah, that's our jail for female inmates. So she'll be housed there. We will get you the video immediately as soon as you leave here.
Clarify the charges too. I think the court
We played the video at the beginning of this live, but I'll play it again one more time before the end.
different counts of conspiracy.
This is Para Women Radio, and I'm Amy. If you could give this live a thumbs up, it helps my channel out tremendously, or even share it. If you wanted to share it, that would help me out.
Yeah, on the booking sheet, what I have is murder in the first degree, and then murder first degree premeditated. The conspiracy element is more of like a, I'm trying to think of the correct term, but just, you know, it has to do with the process on how it was played out with others and everything. But at the end of the day, she's in for 2 counts of first degree murder, 1 premeditated. Yeah.
Also, just a question. Is that pretty typical?
Hiding over there on me.
trying to become invisible. But,
Sure.
How common is that to kind of opt for the driving instead, whether it may involve any sort of high-profile cases? Is that more common?
I wouldn't say that it's uncommon. It's not something that happens frequently, but it's remove the name, remove the circumstances, with the exception of it is a person wanted for a violent crime. Anytime we have that kind of heightened threat because the danger of the other members of the community, then we're going to look at all these other factors that could impede or delay our travel. And if we feel like those things outweigh the benefit of getting in a car and driving, and though it's inconvenient, then we're going to get in a car and drive and do whatever's necessary to keep people safe. So it wasn't just so much her, it was all the circumstances involved. Yeah. All right, again, I apologize for the technical difficulties. I appreciate your guys' time. Gratitude to our office and the men and women who do exceptional work every day. God bless.
He seems annoyed. Oh, that was one of my favorite judges. Okay, so that was the press conference. This is Para Women Radio, and I'm Amy. Let's watch her come in. This is day 1 of the 24 days of LIVEmas. Hashtag LIVEmas. I don't want to do Vlogmas, so I'm doing LIVEmas. Hold on, sir, you stop it. You stop telling me to stop it. If I'm too loud, he says stop it. At night, I put him to bed. If the TV's too loud, this is what I hear until I turn it down. Oh. She doesn't look like she's gained like an ounce. She must be dancing in prison. She's always very pleasant and happy and friendly, it appears. But what does she even say? What does Lori Vallow even say, you know? I don't even know. Something about Moroni? Isn't she Moroni? Walking, walking. It must like do something to your ego though to, I mean, have all eyes on you and have so many people fussing and fighting over you. I'm sure she loves it. Okay, guys, so I'm going to run. Thank you for being here. If you could give this live a thumbs up, a like, it helps me out tremendously. Don't forget, I'm putting down Patreon down in the Patreon link down in the description if you want to cover Ava Braun with me. And I'll put Feel Good University's link over there too. I'm going to do fun things like my medical watering the grass journey, and fun things like Sister Wives and Florida attractions and stuff like that. So if you're interested in any of that, that's over on Feel Good University. Here we're just covering unusual women doing the unusual. That's what we cover over here. And there's plenty of it. So thanks, everyone. I love you.